So the topic of productivity has been a huge issue ever since the COVID-19 outbreak started by the coronavirus. There's a really good video by Renegade Cut going into sort of like the history of the virus in terms of how it came here and the political aspects of it. I'll list that down below because that is not my forte and I don't want to say anything that is misinformative. I know I might have already done so because I'm sure that Corona is the virus and COVID-19 is the disease, I believe is how it was explained in the video. But regardless, since it has happened and people have been told to socially distance themselves in quarantine, especially in New York City, which is where I live, which is a very, it is right at the epicenter of it in the United States, which, you know, big things pop and little things stop it. Throughout everything that's been going on, there has been this concept of like, okay, now everyone's gonna go do their shit now. Everyone's gonna get all their shit finished because quarantine, because y'all ain't got shit to do. And I must say this loudly, as loudly as I can without actually having to raise my voice. The concept that we should be productive during a time where most of our friends, family, and basically anyone that we fuck with on some level is at risk of being exposed to a deadly virus is straight up American, Western, capitalistic bullshit that needs to just be like, for those who are able to create art and do amazing things like apparently Shakespeare did, gay icon himself, or whoever the fuck, Newton, I guess, good for them. I mean, good for them. Good for you, genuinely, if you have taken this time to be better at your edits, to do those video content, to take care of other things, to do your creative endeavors. I think that is really great. You know, I think having a YouTube channel has been one of the few things that has kept me going because I have to do this, because I need to do it. This is work and I need the Patreon money and I need to keep making content. And like, even though I don't get that much traffic, like this is still something that's very important to me and I can like focus on that. But but the priority of being creative is completely ludicrous. I'm lucky. I'm one of the very privileged people. Like, I still have my job. I already worked remotely through the Mary Sue. I already work remotely for stuff for PBS. I'm not losing a lot of the opportunities in that regard and those safety nets at this time. And so I am exceptionally grateful for that. However, my mother is an ER nurse and we live in the same house. And that means that since this whole thing has happened, my mother has been here with me because she's got the last week off, but she didn't have it before. That means that my mother has been exposed to, or has potentially been exposed to this thing. And I spent so many nights not being able to sleep because I was so anxious about something happening to my mother, to my father who's about to be in his 70s, to myself, to my brother who literally moved out a few days before shit started getting really real, you know? Like, I live with my loved ones and I can't be around my loved ones. As someone who has very huge issues with depression that stem from feelings of isolation, this doesn't make me feel more productive. It makes me feel more manic. I spend so much time being anxious about wasting time, about losing, that I never actually find the energy to do anything. One day I woke up at 5:30 in the morning and I laid in bed and cried until I had to get ready to go to work. I rolled out of bed at 9:50, brushed my teeth, and then logged into Slack. I am exhausted. And there are people out there, I'm friends with Lane Moore and a bunch of and artists and a bunch of people, and like the conventions being shut down means people losing money. Some of these conventions ain't giving back people's money, so that's a whole fucking issue. Like, there are people who are artists who planned things all ready to do during this time when they had the freedom to present their art, because not everyone can do an Etsy shop. Some people need, and most people make more money at conventions than they do online shopping. Like, for some people, convention season is how they make everything for the year. This is a huge loss for a lot of creative people, and this idea, like, well, this is bad for you, but like, at least you get to be creative. Some of us have to be creative for a living. Some of us are already working on creative projects every single day on top of other things. This is another anxiety, another pressure, another fucking cog in the goddamn wheel that makes it harder for us to keep going. I'm scared a lot, you know? Even if I wasn't scared of something happening to me, my friends, one of my best friends also is like bipolar, dealing with other issues, finally getting in a stable place with her medication, and now this is happening. She's been having extreme anxiety attacks and feeling so anxious and manic because of all of this. This is not inspirational. This is not a fucking muse. A disease is not a muse. Like, not for all of us. You know what I've been spending my days doing? Playing Animal Crossing. Okay? Because the shit is fire. And I'm in debt to these fucking raccoon dogs. But you know what? I paid off my first house, took out the extension. I don't feel it's that extended for the amount of money he wants to charge me for it. But, you know, I let myself get played. So what am I supposed to do? I'm going to keep building, catching my bugs, and have a bunch of fossils in my house. I also just feel very sad, very lonely. I'm gonna be my little mellow ass bitch. Yeah, I'm lonely, I'm sad. I feel very detached from the people I care about the most, and I can't do anything about it. I am at the beck and call of a government that could give a shit about me. I'm at the beck and call of a society that can't follow fucking directions, and a society that wants to just like throw out everything into the air and think it's fucking literature. Like, I was taking an Uber home. I was in the Uber with a fucking QAnon bitch. I was so happy to have a black female Uber driver. I was like, oh, it's gonna be nice. The car gonna smell good. It's gonna be chill. It's gonna be just vibing. She play music. She won't talk to me. It's gonna be great. No, she wanna talk to me about abortion stuff and about fucking that it's a communist this. And I'm just sitting here like, girl, she played a QAnon video in the Lyft. And I still tipped her and gave her 5 stars. The amount of misinformation. She said that she and her didn't know African Americans getting the coronavirus. They just canceled the NBA girl. That's where, do you not know? Like, I was like, girl, the NBA is on lockdown because one of their players had the coronavirus. Did we forget that somehow? Like, did we forget that? And I'm just, all these corporations want to use this as fucking pack mules, and we're supposed to be creative. You know what would be creative? A fucking guillotine, to be quite frank. It sounds like I'm inciting violence, which I'm not. But I'm just saying, like, yo, there have been revolutions for less. Marie Antoinette didn't even say to eat cake and they killed her ass. Like, we really, like, like, I think what's so disappointing about this, on top of everything, is like, you would think that this would light a fire under people's asses. You think that this would expose the faults in our system. You would think that this would get people to see like what's really going on. But people don't want that. People want to return to normal. They want to conform to whatever the fuck they think norm is. Like, that's why they all voted for fucking Biden. Cause like, he's close enough to Obama. He has that Obama glow on him, which I'm like, girl, alright. And all these other things that people are ignoring, the fact that like, he is part of the reason we have a government that can't do shit for us. Like, Bernie is not perfect. Not to get, I know I'm already getting political, but not that, like, Bernie is far from perfect, and he has made many mistakes in his campaign, especially in trying to get the Southern black vote, and that ended up biting him in his own ass. And I feel, at 2 coins, I feel very irritated by it, and I also understand why it happened. And it's like, the sad reality is that I'm sure there would be more African American, I hate that term, but there would be more black Southern support from older generations for Bernie Sanders if he had been better at talking and pandering to that base in that way. But part of his brand is not doing that. And that ended up just screwing him around. And so you have these people who are not going to put their dollars and cents behind a man who will speak to their sorrows and speak to their ills in a way that they understand. He's not gonna shake up the foundation that is really infecting our country and has always infected our country. Because I've been listening to this podcast called Wicked Game, which is all about the history of the American elections. This shit has always been ratchet. It's actually quite fun. Because literally people used to be in the streets, sis. I wish we could bring that shit back. There was this story about this one congressman who ripped off his shirt and was like, shoot me. And I was like, bring back that energy to politics. They would be dueling in Congress. You shoot one, you get called out, you go back to office next day. I mean, where is... This is going to be a like, don't talk about productivity during coronavirus, and it just turned into like, we need to revolt. But I just feel so angry, you know? I feel angry because I fundamentally feel angry because I want better for all people. Even people who I don't maybe individually like. I want us to have the bare minimum of what we need to survive as a people. And as a Black person, I know that if all of us can't get that, then the people who look like me, my Indigenous family, my Latinx family, my Asian family, all those people who I consider family and marginalization are all gonna be fucked. In different ways. Because I can tell you what, all of this anti-Chinese rhetoric that we're seeing right now, white supremacists will utilize and weaponize the minority, the good minority thing to hoodwink Asian people, and then as soon as shit gets ready, they're ready to turn on them. Proximity to whiteness will never help you, because they will turn their backs on you as soon as they can go. That's why the only thing that gives me joy these days, even though it makes me sad because my ass can't even go there, is when I see all my ancestral nations just being like, nope, don't come here no more. Like, I was like, yo, big ups to that, because y'all, like, it's a trip. I don't think that we need to incite violence. I don't think that we literally need to bring the guillotine back because, again, like, mob rule has never been good, and I don't believe in that. But I do think that we are so passive about what we need that we won't go out for it. We will not rebel for the things that we actually need, and then we wonder why we don't have them. And when it comes to being creative right now, for me, like, I'm writing, I'm doing my revisions because my agent is an amazing woman and I just want her to be happy and I love her. But I'm also listening to her talk about her struggles and what she's going through, and I'm just like, it's hard. It's hard to be creative when you are under societal duress. Like, I feel so drained, even though I never left my house. I work out, I do my videos, I'm editing, I work every day, I'm grateful for what I do have, but I have been feeling the just pulsating anxiety of all of this, and it's exhausting. So if you don't have the energy to be creative, read a book, watch a Netflix documentary. I just finished watching the Dark Side of the Ring 2-part documentary about Chris Benoit and his family, which made me cry for like 2 hours because those are my homies when I was growing up. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. So, you know, do what you need to do to make yourself feel good. I'm gonna reread The Joy Luck Club right now because that book makes me cry. Focus on taking care of yourself, your mental health, your spiritual joy, if you believe in that kind of stuff. Like, but do not feel the need to work to prove something to any of these people online. Prove to whom? Prove what? I'm happy if I live, girl. I am a macabre ass bitch, okay? I read too much 19th and 18th century literature, okay? I have been preparing for an early grave since I was like 12 years old, when I knew that people could die young. Whenever I cough, I'm like, it is time. I'm gonna be like Jane Eyre's little friend in that book. What was her name? Lucy? Nancy? Go with Lucy. I'm sure that's right. It's probably, actually, let me look at it right now. What are we doing? I'm gonna edit this out if I feel like it. Jane, Sarah, Eliza, Georgiana, Lloyd. cousin, Sarah. Who the fuck are these people? Helen. Okay, so I was wrong. I've had a will in progress since I was like 16, and I learned about the importance of having a will. I'm ready to go. And every time I cough, I'm like, it's time. Bury me with my Switch. I want Animal Crossing Bling. I want you to pay off my debt to the raccoons. Don't let Tom Nook take all my shit when I die. I miss my friends. I miss going to movies with my friends. I miss seeing people that I really love and I care about. I miss hugging my mom. My mom is right upstairs and I can't hug her. And I hate that. There's nothing creative about that. And what's worse is that I have this anxiety now, but if I don't finish any of these big creative projects and something, God forbid, would happen to them, they would die without being really proud of me. And they would die without seeing me accomplish anything. Which, as you could probably guess, does not help with anything. So for all y'all out there feeling that way, you're not alone. Fuck anyone telling you to power through it. Like, you gotta take it one step at a time and do the next right thing. That's all any of us can do. Anyone who tells you otherwise, you know what they can do? They can cut you a goddamn check and then pay you to be creative, as far as I'm concerned, okay?
I can feel your energy pulsating down my spine. Oh, oh. I am not the enemy. No need to run and hide. No, no. But as the night draws near, we are animals of fear. Feels so cold inside my head. And as the sun comes up, we are always out of luck. There's no room for us here. It's a cold-blooded